And you know what? We got to get into this team getting a little bit healthy now.
Yeah,
we do. Detroit Lions.
Help is on the way.
Not quite hoodie mode yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
I love stuff. We're getting there. He's ready.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Hey, you know what? The Detroit Lions are getting some reinforcements back. Shout out to Flannel Sam as well for putting together the show sheet. Josh Pascal, friend of the show, Aleem McNeil, and Taylor Decker were all full participants in practice Thursday. DJ Reader and Levi Onzarike were limited participants in practice Thursday.
Oh, that's beautiful.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling fired up.
I saw your face just change. As soon as I had things to say, but as soon as I finished the sentence, I saw your face light up. I was like, no, we got to get KG's thoughts.
No, because, I mean, the last few weeks, we dealing with, 16 to 18 people on the injured list? Like, that's unreal, bro. So, you see that number and you think, like, okay, we're going to be missing a lot of guys for a long time. You look up 3 weeks later, you get a 10-day rest, and now you got some reinforcements coming back, some key reinforcements as well. So, this Lions defense, they've played phenomenal, in the face of the injuries. But now that you're getting some of your dogs back in a game like this just only makes me more confident that the Lions can pull off a win at home against the Bills.
Yeah, I'm definitely confident as we kind of did some prep and dug through some things, tried to get on my Flannel Sam.
Yeah.
There were some trends there that make me very, very confident for the Detroit Lions in this game against the Bills. We're going to break it down as well because we got the Lions offense versus the Bills defense next up. Then we're going to talk about the Bills offense versus the Lions defense.
Let's do it.
And when we talk about those reinforcements coming back, obviously we have a lot more on the defensive side. But when you talk about the Detroit Lions and having Taylor Decker back, having Taylor Decker in this game, that's where I'm equally as excited because Taylor Decker's importance to this run game and the depth that the offensive line has to stay fresh. We talk about the job that guys like Dan Skipper can do, but when you have that lack of depth, these guys are getting a little long in the tooth. Yeah. You want that offensive line as fresh as possible, and that's why I'm excited to see Taylor Decker back in this game because, one, he is the better lineman. No shade to Skipper, who was fielding admirably, and you made sure to call that out this week when we broke down the last game against the Packers. But just being able to have him back and being able to have a little bit more depth, I believe strategically it helps the Lions when we look at them where our other teams as the game goes on.
No, absolutely. And I got to get on my Neil Rule shit because I was told mid-season that Taylor Decker was washed. That's what I was told.
Talk about it.
And big shout out to Dan Skipper, bro. We all know we saw the locker room celebration last week, him throwing up in the corner after playing a damn good game, man. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. But the fact that you're getting Taylor Decker back is huge, man. We all know that. He protects Jared Goff's blind side. And even though Jared Goff is one of the most protected quarterbacks in the league, you want all the reinforcements you can get going against this Bills defensive line that has a lot of talent. I feel like that goes understated. They do have a lot of talent on that defensive line, but
they're sporadic though.
They are. And the Lions have the best offensive line in the league.
I was studying, man. I was like, you know what? They have the talent. But where the Lions are consistent, no matter what is thrown their way, the Bills have been up and down.
Yeah,
I took a look at some of their common opponents, and I also took a look at the Bills' losses, and that's what got me a little bit even more confident for the Lions in this game. But you know what? Anything about these additions? The injured players come back? Because Justin, I see you look raring to go, man. What up, though?
I mean,
I'm excited for Pascal.
I said it yesterday on Big D Energy. Avengers assemble. Bring them all back. We're ready to ride. We're going straight for Buffalo's throats. We are pulling up to you like we are Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America on Thanos. Josh Allen sitting there with the stones in his hand, and we're pulling up, and we want all the smoke.
Let's go. All the smoke, bro. I love that. What up, though, JB Smooth? What up, though?
I don't think I can even outmatch that. I love Justin's take with the Avengers. Like, hey, we back now.
Yes, sir.
We back. Don't fear.
Baby.
The Doctor Strange has let us back in. It's been a couple years, but we back now. We back. We got this. Sorry, Thanos, but it's over for you, Josh Allen.
Oh, wow. Real quick, Dolphins release Odell Beckham after one season. Damn, man. When it goes, it goes.
Talking about somebody was washed.
Yeah, man. What?
The fall from grace is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Generational fall off.
It's crazy. You know what? I want to get into breaking down this game because I'm excited for this, man. We got stuff in the building as well. Randall Smalls, though, man, I see you. $10 super chat. Says, you guys are the greatest. Great topic today for me. I lost my dad in 95 on Friday the 13th. I needed this. Thank you.
Hey,
thank you to
peace,
Randall
man.
and everybody that supports us as we try to continue to support you all as well. We're going to continue to try and evolve. We're going to continue to try and get better as well. Be vulnerable, be hyped up, be fired up. And, hey, sometimes I'm going to be drinking a little bit too much Kool-Aid. Like, I'm bouncing back and forth between a close game or an absolute, as the legend Terry Foster would say, mollywop.
No, a lot of people are asleep, bro. And I know they talked about this on the flagship yesterday. I got to give credit where it's due. But could the Lions actually win this game by double digits?
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we actually
talk to me,
positioned
Steph.
to really win this game and separate us
Get me
from like the
fired
rest
up,
of
Steph.
the league.
Oh, I love it, bro.
Like, yeah, you said
Y'all
we getting
talking
some
that
guys
shit.
back, right?
Yeah.
And then we going into the week after winning a real tight, close game to a division opponent. We already know how division opponents are, division games are,
Yeah.
right? Nah, man, we gonna go in there and take care of business this week.
I'm fired up.
100%.
I am fired
100%.
up, man. You know what? Hey, Derek Steinberg, drunk on the Kool-Aid. You know what? Stoked, not scared.
Oh, always.
Stoked,
bro.
not
Always.
scared. Let's talk to some of our friends and let's get into breaking down the Lions offense versus the Bills defense. It's time to break down this game, man.
Let's do it.
And I'm starting to really get into that hoodie mode just a little bit.
Suit up.
I can't wait till we talk about the defense. But in this game, we're talking about the offense is where I really want to see them, just like they did last week, pick this team up. Make sure that the defense can go out there with some of their reinforcements and not have to have a stressful day.
Yeah.
You put this defense in the right position, and I believe that they eat. But this offense, that's the position that I believe can go out there and dictate things. And I want to see them go against this Bills defense that's been sporadic. You look at them throughout the season, they've been very sporadic, bro. Like, look, I got some stats here about the Bills defense,
Okay. Talk to your boy.
For whatever reason, versus the Chiefs, they went absolutely ham. And this is like their last 3 games, okay? Versus the Chiefs, they forced 2 interceptions, 2 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, and 5 passes deflected. Wow. But when you look at all the other games, it's very pedestrian. Versus the 49ers, 2 sacks, 1 quarterback hit.
Yep.
Versus the Rams, no sacks, 3 quarterback hits. You go back before that, and it's very, very pedestrian. I don't know what it was about that game versus the Chiefs, or if they're playing coy, or if they're able to scheme certain things or not show certain things.
What it is
but they unleashed something different against the Chiefs.
The Chiefs' offense has been struggling. That's what the hell it is. And don't nobody want to really talk about it. You know, I've been saying that they kind of fraudulent for a 12-1 team. You got to give them credit. They are the Super Bowl champions. They do find ways to win. But the product, the brand of football that they've been playing this year has just not been good, which is why the Bills got off to such a hot start against them. But when you look at the Bills, we all know coming into the season, they lost a lot, you know, in the offseason in terms of defensive help. They're still solid, especially in their front 4. You have Greg Rousseau, you have Ed Oliver still, AJ Espinoza, and Von Miller still lurking in the shadows there too.
Yeah. Wow.
So they still have a lot of talent on this defense, but for some reason they just have not been able to put it together, and they really seem to get gashed in terms of the run game. So we all know what the Lions do, man. Power football. You got your guys up front, maulers, man. We are going to be able to run the football, especially at home.
That's why I think this is going to be a game of trench work. What you're saying, yes, they have the talent, but when I went through and I looked at the stats, I'm like, how are they not getting QB hits? All season we talked about, I don't care as much about the pressures this year. Last year, having that amount of pressures and Aiden Hutchinson being one of those guys that you could look at and say top 5, and that he was going to definitely carry our team. Cool, we're getting back there, but we also know that they were whiffing on some sacks, and there were plays that if we could have just either completed the sack or got the running back down in the backfield, we put ourselves in a great position even to go to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And this year, though, what I love about the Lions, remember we had those numbers yesterday, 7, 10, and 6. Oof. That's their quarterback hit numbers.
Yeah.
And they also have sacks in that game, and some of those games were not with the lineup that they're going to roll out against the Bills, but we're going to get to their defense. But when I look at the Bills, they're not really bringing the pressure. And we talk about when you want to dismantle a Jared Goff-led offense, you have to get pressure on Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So despite their talent, they haven't been able to do it against lesser offensive lines than what I believe to be is right now the number 1 offensive line in the league. You're facing the Lions now. That's our big boy unit.
Yeah.
We talked about that yesterday.
Best unit on the team.
It leads so appropriately into kind of this discussion because despite the Bills being good, they are 10-3. For all intents and purposes, the Lions really should be undefeated, but they do have that 1 loss on them on their record. And that's where I look at this game as it relates to the offense versus the Bills' defense. I believe this, that the Detroit Lions are just a different class of team than the Bills, but that Josh Allen is so good, he's able to close that gap.
Yeah.
And that's where I do expect the Detroit Lions offense to outclass the Bills defense. I do expect this to be a game where our coaches are out-coaching theirs. You look at some of their losses. When I look at their losses, the Ravens just blitzed them. You just got bludgeoned next game. But you look at the other two, and you have the coaches on record having to apologize for their weird decisions, man, especially the games that they lost. And that's why I'm like, you know what? This is one where I do believe our coaches are going to be the ones that we're going to clearly see are out coaching the opponent.
Yeah, Sean McDermott is somebody that's known to make blunders in terms of clock management and things of that nature. So if this game is close, then you never know.
Yeah, Sean McDermott was on the hot seat a couple years ago, if we all remember.
Talk to us.
With respect to your point about the Chiefs and them showing up to play that day against the Chiefs have a really bad offensive line, and I think Mahomes has been sacked more times this year than at any other point in his entire career.
That's a fact.
And then one of those offensive linemen, I think it's like the left tackle or the left guard, he false start every single snap. Like, I was watching him last week. I'm like, dude, why are they not calling this right here, right? And then it's something to where it's like Chiefs-Bills, that game right there, you're going to show up for that game and show out. So we always get like a thriller type of game anytime those two teams play each other. When you play against the Lions offensive line like this week, we got the best offensive line in football, right? We got the best offensive line men in football.
It ain't the same.
So I think that the defense will be neutered to some degree this week. The problem is when we have to play their offense, and we'll obviously get to that in a moment, I think Josh Allen put on the Superman cape and he might do some things. But that's the only thing that worries me. I don't worry about our team, our offensive line being able to run the football, run it down their throat. So I think we'll be all right.
Yep, and that game was a home game for the Bills versus the Chiefs.
Yeah,
this one is a home game in Detroit with the Detroit fans. They're already going to be rocking. You talk about how loud it was. We already know what Detroit does when it's time for these types of things, man. Hey, well stated. What up, though?
Great.
Yeah. What up, though? That dude, Justin, man. Yeah, we got the Lions offense versus the Bills defense. They got some talent, as KG pointed out, but when we kind of look through their stats and their performances, they haven't really been able to put any pressure on any quarterback at all. And they're nearly not going and body bagging a team's offense the way that we've seen the Detroit Lions defense doing. I got some stats about that we'll share in the next segment.
It's a favorable matchup. I mean, you got the best offensive line in the league. I don't respect their pass rush. If Von Miller isn't going, then nope, their pass rush isn't going at all. So if you put Penei Sewell on with Von Miller lined up across from him, I'll take that matchup all day. I'll take Taylor Decker matchup. I think the pathway is the Lions controlling the football, the time of possession, winning the battle, running backs, receiving, rushing, every way you want it. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes off as well. He had 9 receptions for 122 yards the last time they met. So I expect another big offensive game, and I'll say it. I don't think this game is going to be close. I don't think we're ever going to be in fear of losing the game. I think we're going to be leading from the front. We're going to be running the ball consistently. And, yeah, maybe Josh Allen drives down and makes it a 2-point game like he did against the Rams. But at that point, it's not going to matter. They're going to give the ball back to the Lions, and they're going to run it out. There is a pathway for the Bills to be in the game, but I personally think that it's going to be a 10-point game. Yeah, I think that our Lions are just going to run all over them. The offense is going to be unstoppable. I don't see a path where they are stoppable by the Bills, and I think it's going to be an easy dub.
That's a great take,
Yeah,
Justin.
I'm thinking 11 now. I'm leaning towards the 11.
See, y'all keep going up. That number keep creeping up.
I got a number 11 for you, just kind of like coincidentally.
Okay.
This is why I think the Lions are going to win ultimately. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and the Lions still beat the Texans. Last week, Josh Allen just scored 6 touchdowns, and they still lost to the Rams.
That's a fact.
6 and 5 is 11. I mean, doesn't matter how many times, we either like shoot ourselves in the foot or, they try to he tries to lift up his team and just it's never enough one way or the other. It seems like
it just doesn't seem to be there. And real quick, just wanted to make a quick tidbit on their injury report. Rasul Douglas, one of their corners, he's questionable. Taylor Rapp, questionable. Their safety, and DeMar Hamlin also questionable. But to be real, their secondary has been questionable since the start of the year. So
Yeah, but those guys though made differences in the game in the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
When I went back and I was looking at as well who was kind of questionable in this one versus who played in those other games, it's like, all right, they don't even have necessarily, we don't know yet, all their dogs. And if they do play, it's a situation where we know they're not going to be at 100%.
Yeah.
But our offense, there's nothing to suggest that we're not going to be at 100. I know that Taylor Decker is coming back, and that's the one part there, but I do believe that's still an upgrade over what we've had, and we can rotate him in and out the game with Dan Skipper to keep him fresh. So I'm comfortable there. I'm really comfortable with this offense, especially seeing what just happened to the Bills' defense. You talk about this Rams offense, and even though Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford are different style of quarterbacks, the offenses are ones that can beat you just the same. You know, dynamic running back capability. And when you look at a guy like a Puka Nacua versus like an Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're talking about some running backs, some wide receivers that can dice you up over the middle of that field.
Absolutely.
You're talking about some sure-handed wide receivers that it doesn't even matter if you have coverages draped all over them. And that's where I'm like, you know what, the recipe is there. And that's why we're going to get into this next segment in a little bit when we talk about the Lions defense, because that to me, along with the coaching, is going to be, those keys to the game.
real quick, it's crazy that they lost by 44 points to the Rams. The Rams put up 12 points last night against the 49ers.
Man, that was
Yeah,
probably
that's
that was
crazy.
not
That
their
is
fault.
insane to me.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That
to
one
me.
was a sleeper.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
crazy.
I mean, the
man.
49ers did get Drake Greenlaw back, which is the most critical piece other than Fred Warner on that defense.
True, but
So
He looked like they best player
12
last
points
night.
though.
Yeah,
he looked like he was shot out of a
like
cannon.
12 points.
I mean, that game was
Justin,
like
that
6-3
as well, too,
for
but
like
you-
a long
okay.
time. It was not a
Jesus.
very entertaining game if you like, seeing touchdowns being scored.
Yeah.
But the last point that I'll make about the Lions, though, the offense, I think that they have done such a good job of winning games, impossible games, and games that they shouldn't have won. That it's created like a mystique, almost like the mystique that Mahomes has. Like if you give the offense the ball late, people start making mistakes and you start getting a little antsy,
Yep.
and then that's how they continue winning those games. So I feel like if it's close,
Yeah.
late, and the Lions offense has the ball, we probably win that game.
No, I totally agree, Steph. I've been saying it for weeks now. The
Yeah.
Lions don't have to
Expect to
play.
win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Lions are so elite now that they don't have to play a perfect game in
No.
order to win, but you do. The other team does.
Yep.
Because if you give the Lions any opportunity, we are going to pounce, bro. And that's just where we're at as a franchise now. It's beautiful.
And
Hey.
that pressure bursts pipes.
Yes, sir.
Makes you
Yes,
make
sir.
mistakes.
Steph over there spitting.
Oh,
here,
he
bro.
is, bro.
Let's
I'm
get to
telling
this
you.
defense because I'm ecstatic. I'm
Yeah.
excited because this is going to be much more of a heavyweight fight than people think. I get it where Josh Allen is with this MVP conversation, and many people believe he might and should be rightfully the leader in that conversation. But the Detroit Lions are getting some enforcements. Mr. $20 million man himself, Ali McNeils, is he fully practiced.
dog.
And Josh
Oh,
Pascal. Remember how the defense looked when it was Josh Pascal at the edge?
Yeah.
I can't wait, man. You already know Big Z is ready to lunch.